There comes a moment in your life when everything goes quiet. Not because you've failed, but because something higher is being arranged. No spotlight, no recognition, no reward, just stillness. But not the stillness of emptiness, the stillness of precision. You didn't fold, you didn't conform. You stayed planted when everything in you wanted to prove, to perform, to push. And now, without warning, something is shifting. You can feel it in your bones. The air before a storm that blesses, not destroys. Because when heaven sponsors your life, it's not loud. It's not logical. It's divine timing, disguised as delay. Stay with me, because what you're about to receive will explain why your waiting was never wasted. You didn't miss the opportunity. You were being shaped to carry something too holy to collapse under pressure. The world wanted you to hustle, to prove, to perform, but your soul refused. Because what's holy can't be rushed. While others moved fast, you were being made deep. They celebrated noise. You chose depth. They built platforms. You built character. Have you ever felt like your silence was being mistaken for weakness? Or that your stillness was a sign of being left behind? What if your delay wasn't delay at all, but divine architecture? That's why your reward won't look like theirs. It won't be a check for your effort. It'll be a reflection of your endurance. You weren't being punished. You were being preserved. The system taught you to chase, to hustle, to perform, to prove. But the divine doesn't operate through exhaustion. It flows through alignment. What's coming to you now doesn't have a blueprint. You didn't network your way here. You became your way here. Do you feel that? The ease that used to feel impossible, slowly becoming normal. That's why people won't understand it. They'll ask for steps, tactics, tools, but they won't find a formula because the currency was always favor. Heaven doesn't pay hourly. It pays in ease where there used to be resistance, in doors where there used to be silence, in peace that arrives before the pressure even shows up. There were moments you could have compromised and no one would have blamed you. Moments you could have sold your light to be seen, but you didn't. You chose sacred over flashy. You stayed honest when it felt like invisibility. You gave up fast wins for soul integrity. When was the last time you were tempted to fit in? And something inside you whispered, stay true? And that is why you're being compensated in wholeness, not because you performed, but because you didn't trade your identity for visibility. People used to overlook you, not because you weren't glowing, but because they weren't ready to see. You weren't invisible. You were vibrating ahead of your time. And now, finally, the atmosphere is catching up to your frequency. That's why your stillness is becoming strength. Why your rest is starting to attract what your effort never could. You're not hustling anymore. You're hosting divine flow. And that's why the right people, the right timing, the right path are now finding you, not the other way around. Maybe now you're realizing your glow was never meant to be rushed, only revealed. What's coming isn't a wage, it's a recognition. From the universe, from the divine, from your own soul. And it won't come wrapped in manipulation, scarcity, or identity loss. This is wealth that whispers, you're safe now. Not just income, but impact. Not just money, but meaning. Not just visibility, but value. Because you were trusted with people's pain. Now you're being trusted with joy. And you didn't have to become someone else to earn it. So when it arrives, don't flinch, don't shrink. Don't question if you deserve it. You do, because you stayed. Because you held your center. Because you loved through loss and refused to become bitter. Heaven doesn't reward noise. It rewards endurance. Stillness, alignment. This isn't prosperity as the world defines it. This is wealth as heaven confirms it. And now, the gates you never thought would open are swinging wide, not because of what you did, but because of who you refused to stop being. The era of striving is ending. The era of receiving for who you really are is here. And if something in you knows this was your message, then watch what heaven does next.